I'm in a video making mood, and I want to talk about some things that mean a lot to me, like my nihilism. Uh, so for me, I'm not the clinically depressed type of nihilism. I'm the nihilism's just facts type of nihilist, which is there's no objective meaning, there's no objective social truths. We make our own meaning, and the meaning that we make is meaningless, right? So I mean, this is a branch of absurdism, which is really popular with people who love Camus. I think Camus is awesome. Big fan of him. So nihilism itself has a lot of derivatives, and some people believe that there's true nihilism, which is one of the derivatives, right? And it's like, oh yeah, if you're a nihilist, that means you're an anti-natalist because you say there's no value in life, so you want to die, which is like a conclusion that somebody can come to, but it's not a necessary conclusion, right? Because that's assuming there's value greater in killing yourself than in living. But the starting point of nihilism said that there's equal value in living as there is killing yourself, because neither have value in and of itself. So for me, there's no reason for me not to be patient, because no matter what I'll do, no matter what I'm going to do, I will, in fact, die eventually no matter what, because none of us are getting out alive. So there's no reason not to be patient. So yeah, I really enjoy nihilism. I'm happier as a I grew up Mormon, right? So that's my background. I grew up on a steady diet of Fox News. I went to Mormon church. I listened to Rush Limbaugh and Glenn Beck in my dad's car. My dad was a big conservative. And, growing up, I was like, right, Dad, I was like, liberals are the bad ones, right? This is me trying to understand politics, me getting deeper into politics. And he's like, yeah, son, that's right. Liberals are the evil ones. And that was the starting point I had, and this is something that I unlearned relatively quickly, probably starting around middle school. 8th grade is when I stopped believing in God, 8th grade specifically, and I cited evolution as my excuse not to believe in God. But I think I already was doubting it, because I was doubting it since I was little. I tried talking to God. I was like, how come no one's responded? I was like, this is nonsense. This is bullshit. And I had the recursion problem that annoyed me. I was like, well, who made God? And who made that guy's God? And blah, 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 blah. So these were issues that I went through very early on. And then eventually I landed on nihilism. I'm like, well, I was like, in my school, my conservative town at the time, I think my town's pretty woke now, but growing up, it was pretty conservative. And nihilists got a lot of shit. And I was like, when I read it, I was like, but this is just true. I was like, why is everyone shit talking nihilism when it's just true? and for some people, they're like, they believe it causes depression, right? They're like, I'm miserable because I don't think anything matters. And maybe that's true for some people. I don't have access to their internal models, but it's not true for me. So I identify specifically as a nihilist because I think it's correct. But I still like doing it. Like, I'm a teacher. I'm going back to Korea to teach specifically. I like teaching middle schoolers, and I really enjoy interacting with children. I also enjoy lifting. I enjoy eating food. I like watching shows. So for me, there's like enough reasons to do stuff and not want to die, right? Like, life's not that bad. I don't feel a lot of suffering from life. And life, I was like, and you know what? If stuff mattered, you know how stressful that would be? I'm so glad nothing matters. It's much less stressful that way. I was so miserable as a Mormon because stuff mattered, and I thought it mattered. And but there was cognitive dissonance too, right? So I'm not going to blame Mormonism. I think there's just cognitive dissonance with my vibe and what made sense for me as a philosophy and what I was practicing as a philosophy. And a decade in the church, I don't have a single friend from that Mormon church. I have Mormon friends, but none from that church because it wasn't my thing. I never vibed with the community. the type of people who believed it in my town didn't really have like the type of reasoning that I could become friends with. It never felt like something that I was ever going to be on board with. But I gave my sincere best effort. And I can kind of imagine what religion feels like. Not from my religion, but because I fell in love once. So I imagine that's what religion feels like. I'm like, I get it. I get why people believe it. It's a nice feeling if you feel it. So yeah, this is why I like nihilism. Because for me, it's correct.